Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing is perhaps the most suitable for answering the question its title brings about. What really is the right thing? To answer this, Lee dedicates the film to issues of racism, nationalism, and discrimination, but instead of the superficial, shallow caricatures of prejudice that seem to plague modern Hollywood, Lee offers something else. Something honest and raw that gives a glimpse of a reality that most have never seen or have chosen to ignore. From Dutch tilts to high and low angle shots, Lee doesn't shy away from any technique to ensure his message comes through. Perhaps the most glaring is his construction of point of view, and though very much in your face, they're actually used quite sparingly. I'm sure you're no stranger to the point of view shot, which is a film angle that shows what a character is looking at in the first person. Compared to the objective nature of wide and medium shots and even close-ups, the POV offers a subjective glimpse. The camera acts as the eyes of a character and the audience sees what they see, even if for a couple of seconds. It allows characters to bend, not break the fourth wall, and is done in many different ways, whether it be literally behind a character's eyeballs, seeing what they see from an upside down angle, a moving POV that thrusts the audience into a physical situation, or some of my favorites that use reflections to depict a point of view. Oh, also the classic binocular POV. In Do the Right Thing, the one you probably remember is found just after Mookie has a quiet talk with Pino about racial stereotypes. What follows is a flurry of racial insults and profanities by just about everyone we've been introduced to so far. But a scene that I think has much more to say is this one. As Mookie leaves Sal's to make another delivery, he comes across Radio Raheem on the street, and once again he's got Fight the Power roaring alongside him. And though he doesn't really say much throughout the film, there are key moments where his words overpower his music. Lee makes sure this moment isn't overlooked. He begins with an objective perspective as we follow Mookie through the street, but rather than cutting to the POV shot when he engages with Raheem, Lee goes for something more seamless. Without cuts, he pulls us into Mookie's eyes. This is interesting because every other POV shot that Lee uses is one that comes from cuts. Think the flurry of insults or the heated argument at the climax. But not here. Compared to the other instances where he uses a character's POV to build stakes or unease, this one is framed as a moment of sincerity. And although he's speaking to Mookie, his words transcend the screen. Raheem's fists are framed to cover most of our view, even his face, quite literally spelling it out for us. And through the POV shot, he comments on the real-world struggle that happens beyond the camera, where good and evil battle in the story of life. Both fists are shown, both love and hate, though they may fluctuate and oppose one another, both are necessary. He's speaking not to a struggle within himself, but one in the external world, one that he's staring directly at. This immersion only happens once, and it's used to emphasize perhaps the most important monologue in the film. There really isn't a definitive, absolute right thing. That's why the trash can scene is so contentious, and it's the point I feel Lee was making with the final words from Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. The only thing we know for sure is what the wrong thing is, and to do the wrong thing is to do nothing at all.